how, there you go, that's just falling apart, that little spacer. Oh my. So this is our Ford 555 backhoe. We got this thing from Clint from CNC Equipment. You guys remember that. It was quite a while ago. He drug this thing down for us. Ran when parked. We put a tremendous amount of work into this thing. We basically did an in-frame rebuild, new pistons. It's got a new alternator, new radiator, thanks to area diesel service. We've done some exhaust work. We've done a lot of hose work. We added a third function hydraulic valve kit, thanks to Summit Hydraulics. We reinforced the frame. Listen, we've just put a lot of time and effort in this thing, and it's been the backbone of the homestead since we've had it, and put a tremendous amount of work in. But there's still a few things we need to get ironed out to make this just absolutely turn the key, run the thing, and not worry about anything else kind of machine, which is what we're after. So the Ford 555 backhoe, this particular model, the original 555 before they started making improvements to it, it's got two steer cylinders, one on this side. I just want to point out to you that we do have a cylinder lock in place for the loader here. And then obviously we've got one on this side. And both these cylinders are just puking out an insane amount of oil. So we're going to be trying to change the seals on these today. And also, when we first got the unit, up underneath here is what's called the steering motor. You can kind of see it. You'll get a real good look later because we're going to disassemble it. The top seal was leaking and puking out oil. Well, we replaced that. But as you can tell by my anti-rust coating we've got going on here, she's puking oil again. And it's not the top seal this time, it's something different. So I just ordered every seal that exists inside that motor. We're going to take that out, disassemble it, see what I put together wrong, or if I just damaged one of those other seals when I reassembled it. Either way, hopefully the steering system will be a self-contained unit when this is all said and done. I got my tech manual, which is the key to being able to do anything DIY. It'll have diagrams and breakdown of all the parts and all their names, and it will have step-by-step instructions of how to remove, how to assemble, things to look out for. You still got to have a little mechanical know-how, but this takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. So I definitely recommend picking up a tech manual. Now I don't plan on taking the cylinder all the way off. We're going to attempt to just take this section of the rod loose, and then we'll remove that cap and the retaining ring that's in there. So if I'm understanding the diagram right, we should be able to loosen this and then beat this off of that rod. And I'm sure somehow we're going to want to note where this is at on that rod. Okay, we're on to plan B right away. We're just going to try to pop that nut off instead. Okay. There we go. I'll pop this little cover off because it's preventing me from getting all the way out of the hole there. Nope. We're stuck again. Will that get me out enough? Oh, absolutely. And then we've got 1, 2, 3 screws right there we've got to back out, and then this cap comes off. So 1/4 wrench on the bit so I can push in and turn at the same time. That's going to be this attempt. We'll try some vice grips real quick here, but there's just not a whole heck of a lot of room to get. Oh, vice grips for the win. Vice grips for the win. No. There we go. There we go. All right, remove end plate, securing screws and cylinder plate. Depress the cylinder gland and insert a punch through the hole in the side of the cylinder to depress the gland lock ring. Got it. Press the gland back in there somehow. So the gland is supposed to tap back in there. Yep, there it goes. And then we can get access to the lock ring. There's a hole right here on the side. That's what we've got to drive the punch into. And if you look close, you can see that lock ring. It's riding on a groove on the inside. So I believe we got to drive that punch through, push it out, and get that lock ring to come out this way. I'm not sure if we have the gland far enough back. There's movement from the lock ring. Not much holding it. I think I figured out the trick. Yep. Okay. There's the ring. So I took the punch in, and then I popped the punch over, and then I was able to get behind it and snap it right out. Now that we know that, the next one will probably be faster. So we should, in theory, be able to pull the cylinder out. Oh yeah, fluid. Kind of forgot about the fluid part. He's got a definitive characteristic. So with it out, we've got access to the outer seals, although this is more of a guide. The rubber part here is the seal. This is more of a spacer for that seal. You can see how, there you go, that's just falling apart, that little spacer. And then that's the actual seal itself. It's like an O-ring. But we also have to replace the inner seals. There's a definite bend to it. I don't think I'm too worried about the bend. I'm not going to do much about it. We got to get this piece off here, so then this will slide all the way off for us. And that comes off. That's going to come off. So I got all my parts from Messick's. They sent me a sweet shirt. Not a partnership or sponsorship. It cost me $387 for all my seal kits that I got. I got one for both steering cylinders, and then I got every seal possible for that steering motor like we talked about. This is the kit for the gland. Did come with a new lock ring. This is the spacer, new O-ring for that. Oh yeah. Yep, all right, we'll just walk that back and forth, and I think it's gonna push out everything we need. Yep, it's walking it right out. So you can see, starting to get her worked out here. So it's all out of the inside. I'm just gonna take some time and get the inside of that all cleaned up real quick. Okay, we're gonna try to get this reassembled. I got some oil over here. I'm putting everything in oil first. So I'm gonna start putting it back together the way the book shows. Reminder, not a how-to. I'm just reading the book. I recommend you do the same if you're doing it. Number 6 is first, O-ring. Number 5, ring piston rod O-ring backup. That's next. Piston rod O-ring retainer. Check. Washer piston rod seal retainer. Nice. That's exactly what I have. Perfect. Number 3, seal piston rod outer. Okay. And then another steel one. Well, in theory, that piece is done. Gotta replace this real quick. Ah, there's that other O-ring. There's an O-ring right in there. This nut is an interference fit, which means it's kind of slightly disformed. So we should just be able to run it down with the impact, and that'd be good enough. Was that a good camera angle there? Oh, really good shape. You know what I mean? Really. That's what you want. You want to just flop around like that. That's how you know it's good and tight. We're not going 80 miles an hour. All right, I'm gonna rub just a little bit of oil on that. a little piece of wood and a hammer, and we'll tap that in. Smash that clip in and get her to snap in for us. Not yet. Alright, that's what we're looking for. Satisfying click sound. I don't hate that design. That's not too bad to change out. My only complaint is the cap and the flatheads, and if a fellow was really concerned about it, I suppose I could round up the proper size threads and put some regular bolts in there instead of the flathead screws. But so I just happen to have these sitting around, same thread and everything. So we're going to run those in. That way if I ever have to do this again, well, hopefully won't have to fight that as much. There's a chance with that cylinder being bent that it puts a little bit more pressure or wear on one side of the seal than the other and will prematurely cause that thing to start leaking. There's also a chance that I'm not concerned about it. That's a 2 out of 3 cap for the rest of its existence. It's a 1 out of 3 cap. You know, in hindsight, consequence of my own actions. Well, that's always a good time. All right. You know. Okay, I'm gonna try to get them out. I was just, I don't know what I was gonna do. Just walk away and put a for sale sign on it. No, I don't want to weld it because they're recessed into that gland, and I'm just gonna mess up the threads on that gland. And I don't want to burn out the seals I just put on. I would have bet pretty good money that that wouldn't have worked. So we got another one yet, huh? Just drilled a hole into it, jammed a T8 down into there, and spun her out. Here's the thing though, I'm gonna get a regular bolt to replace the flatheads because that will make things a lot easier in the future if we had to redo it. Clearly though, I just wasn't paying attention and these are way too soft and spun off way too easy. So I'm gonna pick up the correct hardness little bolt for these things. So we're gonna go ahead, torque this down to the torque spec I found in the manual, put the tire back on. There's plenty of access to reach this with a socket and a wrench or what have you. Once the tire's back on, then we'll go ahead and move to the other side and start getting it taken apart. I'm curious, I got a new camera thanks to the supporters on the Patreon page. I used last month's money from there to buy a new camera that we can do close-up shots that are in focus. I've been playing around with it a little bit on this video. I'm just curious how you guys are liking it. If you like it, if you don't like it, let me know. We're just gonna go straight to the vice grips because that's what worked last time. I don't feel like fighting it. That's what's gonna work this time. Second side is always almost twice as fast. You already got the tools out. You know what challenges you're gonna face. You normally got your problems kind of solved by that point. There's the hole right there I'm looking for my ring. Need to tap that gland back there. This one's not going at all. Definitely can't get to the snap ring yet. It's still too far back. Maybe some heavier hits with a bigger hammer. I don't know. Got a little bit of an idea. So if I fire the backhoe up, that is toasty. Like I just got done cutting on it. Still hot. If I fire the backhoe up with this little piece of metal here, and then turn the wheel, in theory, that'll push that in. Huh? It just feels like it runs out of power. Even throttled up, and I did bleed the other side. I'm putting a strap on it to hold a little pressure. I did bleed the system, by the way, after replacing the other one, okay? So it's full on fluid, and I'll show you. Fluid levels right there, I can see it in there. So with a little pressure on the machine, I'm just gonna take the hammer and beat it. All right, not saying it's the best way, but it's certainly a way. Now, let it break loose enough to get this thing off. Ooh, how about a drain pan this time? So there is an option here, right? The opposite of what we just did. Yeah. I mean, absolutely a work of mechanical art. Not bad. Everything went on fine on this one. No issues. Get this zipped back on. We can't get it worked back in. We got to be careful when we roll this in that we don't roll that. Where's it at? Out of the channel. There we go. There we go. There it is. So this side is now to the same as the other side. I just got to get the right size bolt to get those caps on so we don't have to fight the little flathead in the future. I don't have a lot of time left this evening, but what I'd like to do is go ahead and get everything disassembled on here so we're ready to pull the motor next day I can work on it. Get. Biscuit eater. Did you see that ratchet snack? Now I got access to my hydraulic connections. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once we get the connections out, we drop those 4 bolts and we carefully manipulate that thing out the bottom. I've done it where I take this lever off, but there's a linkage on the back side. The connections between the hood and the outside of the cab, it's super awkward. I tried it this way this time. Seems just as easy, if not easier. I think last time I did this, it took me around 2 hours to figure out how the heck this thing came out of here. And we're just right at 20 minutes right now. Minutes this time. Huh? Imagine how fast it'll be the third time. So this is our steering motor. Basically, 1 port for in, 1 port for out for each side. So whenever we turn the wheel, which is the bottom part of this, where it attaches, this is the bottom of the unit. Whenever we turn that, it directs fluid to one side of the machine or the other to turn the direction we need. We replaced that seal on the top previously and took this apart. Didn't really know what I was doing, but that seal is not leaking because I can look down and see that it is dry. Our leak that we have now is around this seam right here. So we got to try to take this apart and figure out what's going on there. If we flip back in our manual, number 4 here is a rotor seal. I don't remember doing anything with that last time. So we're going to go through, make sure we got all the parts and seals that we're supposed to have. They're all the same length. Just to remove the end cover. So we shall. There's this little piece right here. Came out like that. We're taking this off. This is the seal retainer. It says to remove the seal. Before we go any further, let's take a look at the new seal. So there's quite a bit of wear on that old seal. Just don't know if that's the main problem why we're leaking or not. There's no other seal in that area. I'm going to take these off in order. There's little springs in here that if it comes out in pieces, we're going to lose those. I need it to come out whole. I just want to know if there's another seal somewhere that I'm missing. So when we put this back together, there's that slot right there. That's got to line up on a little piece on the inside, so we got to pay attention to that. It's just the suction from the oil that's holding everything now. That's it. This is nothing more than a machined surface. There is no seal there. So all of those parts we just took off, they have the freedom to just spin on this. And then these ports, that determines where the fluid goes, is my basic understanding here, which means the only seal is this seal here. Honestly, the only thing I know to do at this point, to carefully put it back together as clean as we can, put it in the machine and see if it leaks. So because this pin is spring loaded, it's shifted over to one side, and they give enough room to get something down in there to hold it over. I just got to find something the appropriate size. That took me way longer than I'd like to admit, but it is installed. Neat. Is a word you could use if you wanted. I don't even remember which way this went. You don't have a good picture of it.
That stays in the center. That goes in the oblong one.
Get notch is probably crucial. This notch right here probably means something, doesn't it? Did it?
Making sure the slot side is down. Well, here's a fun fact, folks. I didn't do that last time. I had the slot side up.
With the slotted hole in the commutator engaging the nose on the drive length, we are in the slotted hole. That is good.
Oh, missing a big component here. Yeah, gonna want to put that on at some point. Oh no! Thing is, see how much taller that seal is?
There's a note right here in the book. New longer seals were released effective with unit code 6H02 to provide more positive sealing. New longer seals.
Okay, there we go. All right, here we go. 1, 2. All right, that's the first pass. Second pass, 19 foot-pounds. Okay. One. That was a terrifying sound. Let's see if the thing spins like it's supposed to. Nope, absolutely not. Doesn't turn that way at all. Oh my God. I think I found the problem. How on earth? That's a learning curve. It would appear I had something installed wrong. We gotta disassemble it though. Otherwise, we're gonna end up with metal fragments. All right, I got her cleaned up. I got all the pieces accounted for. I got her reassembled just in a way like this so nothing falls off. Then I installed that piece backwards and then crushed it. Wild.